This season, the first ball of the Denny's PBA Tour is thrown in the Far East. And nothing lost in translation in Tokyo as top international talents drop the pins at Japan Cup 2007. Japan, the land of the rising sun. A country known for its majestic beauty and rich traditions. Today, Tokyo plays host to bowling's best, the Japan Cup, stars of the PBA versus the best of Asia. This year, a new format has the Americans frustrated. The world's best were systematically downed, opening the door for the crown to stay at home. For the last 18 years, a PBA star has taken the title. Quite simply, it has been an American domination. Today, it's more than just red, white, and blue in the championship round. One of these players, representing 4 countries, will be crowned champion at the 2007 Japan Cup. Tokyo, a city of 12 million plus inhabitants, the host city for this year's Japan Cup 2007, coming your way from the Tokyo Metro Gymnasium. 5 million yen on the line, 50,000 American dollars for those who don't know the conversion rate off the top of their head. Alongside 13-time PBA champion Randy Peterson, I'm Rob Stoner. We welcome you to our first bowling coverage of the year as we take a look, Randy, at the format of this year's Cup.
12 games to qualify, and the top 64 advance. Best of 3 single elimination match play. The top 8 advance to TV.
We will show you the 2 semifinals and the final. The second semifinal will be that man from Finland, Mika Koivuniemi. Slow start to last season, hoping to get things going off on the proper foot this year.
Major Mika, the big Finn, he's got to be the favorite. He's the guy with all the experience.
And he'll be taking on Masao, Uehara.
First time on television ever for this guy. And look out for the big bad Wolf. Mike Wolfe, 7th career TV Finals appearance. And Rob, I don't think I've seen him throw the ball better than he has this week.
Very determined and confident look on his face. He'll be taking on this gentleman, Yoshiki Ohsawa, in our first semifinal. And Ohsawa, what a great run he's had through this tournament already. Went 6-0, knocking off 3 PBA stars to advance to the final 8. Take a look at our tournament bracket. You look at the round of 8, and Randy, there are some high numbers showing up there. A lot of upsets so far today.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that really stands out is only one player from the USA making the TV finals. Our first match, Saito-san versus Mike Wolfe. Saito actually had a slight lead in this match through 6 frames, but 2 opens late cost him the match against the big bad Mike Wolfe. I don't think I've seen him throw it better than this in 7 years on tour. I mean, just shot after shot, just piping it to the 1-3.
But Saito is still in this one. Pivotal 9th frame is where this one turned in favor of the Wolf.
Working on a strike here, and he can really put some heat on Mike. And that was just a little bit high and not a very good break, leaving a 4-10 split.
9th frame for Wolfe. What does he do with it? A little more power from the Americans.
That basically sealed the deal right there.
So Wolfe wins it by 8, moves on to the semifinals. And we continue our round of 8 coverage. An all-Japanese showdown. Ohsawa and Masuda. Ohsawa, we see a differing style here. The Japanese, you like to term it a little more old school.
And it really is old school because they like to go down and in. You see the younger players in Japan, they're gravitating more towards the power game. But these two guys, they like the down and in shot, and this oil pattern was very conducive to playing that down and in line.
This the 6th frame for Masuda. 3-6, and we don't care for his choice in trying to take care of it.
Now, we like to throw the ball straight and real direct at any type of spare unless there's a sleeper involved. He decided to try to hook it, and it didn't work out. But the 55-year-old Ohsawa, he throws a six-bagger in the middle of the game and really wins this by a landslide by 46 pins.
We continue our quarterfinal coverage. The lone Korean to move on, Byung Hong Won, taking on another Japanese player, Masao Uehara.
Byung's actual first tournament ever in a PBA event was 1989 in the World Open. He's actually a PBA member, along with being a Korean professional.
Uehara pretty much had this one in control, starting in what, the fifth frame where his string of strikes began.
Yeah, that string turned into a nice five-bagger, and that was really way too much for Byung Hong Won to overcome, and it didn't matter what Uehara did. He could slip and still hit the pocket. Robbie qualified 60 out of 64 players, and he's really riding the wave.
Perfect placement to drop that one. It's all about confidence in this game, and you can see it on his face right there as he moves on to the semifinals. Mika Koivuniemi, the big man from Finland, taking on a lefty, and Mika's got something against lefties.
Well, yeah, he does, but he's taking on the hottest player in Asia. Masao Yamamoto is coming off of back-to-back wins, the MK Charity Cup in Kyoto, Japan, and the Korean Cup. But against the lefty's worst nightmare, well, he had some problems getting out the 7-pin.
The 7-pin there in the fourth. We go to the sixth, and I'm sensing a theme, Randy.
Well, again, Mika Koivuniemi is a lefty hater. He says it doesn't matter if we're in the U.S. or if we're in Japan. Another 7-pin for Yamamoto.
He left 7 7-pins this match, and you're not going to beat a man of this guy's caliber if you keep leaving that many pins on the table.
Yeah, Major Mika is really feeling it now, getting up here in the ninth frame. He can really put some heat on the youngster, and he does so right there with a big strike.
Drop them in the ninth. We move to the 10th. And Mika trying to put this one away.
Yeah, a couple of strikes here in the 10th frame, and this game is over. First ball of the 10th right here. Mika's been in this situation before, and that's just perfect. He ends up leaving a 10-pin on his second shot, so he goes 9 spare to shoot 217. Yamamoto now has a chance with 3 in the 10th frame. 3 strikes in the 10th right here, and he will tie Mika.
And the southpaw whips it in, and guess what's left?
Just another 7-pin. This match was nothing but a bad dream for Yamamoto.
Koivuniemi moves on to the semifinals. He has won titles in 10 countries. Will Japan be his 11th? As we take a look at the semifinals, the lone American, the lone wolf, Mike Wolfe, in the semifinals coming up next, taking on Ohsawa. And when we return, Mike Wolfe rolls into the semifinals, and we'll tell you why he has his travel agent on speed dial. He owes her a big tip. The Japan Cup is brought to you by Denny's. Denny's always works. By Motel 6, official lodging partner of the PBA. By Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com. Since its opening in 1958, the Tokyo Tower has been the world's tallest self-supporting steel tower at 333 meters to the top of the TV towers. Randy, you went up it. Elevator, not what you're used to?
Well, let's put it this way, Rob. I'm claustrophobic and afraid of heights. So by the time I got out of the elevator at about 1,000 feet off the ground, it was time for a wardrobe change.
So you're implying you had a wardrobe malfunction then?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Once again, this bowling season, the PBA and the USBC have joined forces to offer PBA Experience Leagues. These leagues feature a competitive atmosphere and the exact same oil patterns the pros bowl on each week. Just click on PBA.com to get more information. There's Mike Wolfe, the 30-year-old from New Albany, Indiana, getting set to take on Yoshiki Ohsawa, 55-year-old from Japan. The whistle means it's time to bowl. And Ohsawa will start us off. 8 career titles. This season, he's averaging a little over 218 in the Japan League. Semifinal number 1, Wolfe taking on Ohsawa. Not how you want to start a semifinal.
Well, he's got to be nervous. I mean, this is the biggest venue, the biggest setting he's ever been a part of, trying to win the biggest tournament of his career for his country.
Staring at the 1, 2, and the 4. Strategy here is?
Try to cover all 3 pins with the ball, which means you would hit the left side of the head pin. The ball would deflect into the 2 and the 4.
Got it. Nice pickup. So now the 30-year-old from New Albany, Indiana, Mike Wolfe, seeking his 3rd career title. Leaves the 10 pin. And boy, does that place get quiet when the bowlers step up.
Watch the 6 pin, second to your right. Go up and around the 10. Big ring and 10 for Mike Wolfe. Notice how he flattens his wrist out. Same ball, straight and hard, right at the 10.
And we're even after 1 as we take a look at how these two got here. And Wolfe with a significantly stronger average through the Japan Cup so far.
I think the most interesting thing is the fact that Ohsawa is 55 years of age, taking on this guy right here who's only 30.
Quarter of a century separating these two. And you see it in their styles. Wolfe, the power. Ohsawa, the finesse, the placement. Here's Wolfe, second frame. Leaves the 10.
10 again, only this time it's a flat 10. And Mike Wolfe told me earlier that the key for him on today's oil pattern here at the Tokyo Gymnasium is all about ball speed, because the oil is pushed down the lane. If he gets a little too firm, the ball finishes late and it hits weak, just like that shot did right there.
Straighten that wrist out just fine there. Back-to-back spares for Wolfe. And Ohsawa comes up, and we were talking about this earlier, Randy, a lot less of an arc, less of a rainbow on his toss.
Much straighter, much more traditional styled, the way the Japanese were taught way back in the day. Nice and straight and direct.
Gets a little help there and bumps that one down and leaves the 4 pin standing.
Almost leaves the 4-9, gets a nice break of pin kicking that 9 pin out. Now notice that he switches to a different bowling ball for his spares. He prefers to go to a plastic ball, something that doesn't grip the lane, to throw it straight at the 4 pin.
All over it. Situational substituting in bowling. I like it. Take a look at how Ohsawa got here. And boy, he had to knock off some big names.
Yeah, in Japan they call him the Shiba Kariki. That's Japanese for lawnmower.
I like
because he mowed some boys this week.
26-time champ Norm Duke went down. Also took care of all-time Denny's PBA Tour title leader Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the round of 32, and he's earned his spot here. That's for sure, Randy.
Yeah, no gimmies for him. He went undefeated. He beat 2 of the greatest the game has ever seen.
Again, staring down the 4 pin. He left it standing in the 2nd frame. And again, he's all over it. Spare, spare, spare for Ohsawa. Wolfe up for his third frame. Up by 1. Originally, Wolfe was not even supposed to be in Japan for this tournament. Jack Jurek dropped out, spot opened up. Wolfe, one of 4 invited, but had to pay his own way here. Good collision.
I got that one to face the 1-3 the right way, and basically this ball creates its own vortex as it's going to suck 10 pins right off the deck. But Mike Wolfe's throwing it so good right now, you can barely hear the ball hit the lane when he lets go of it. He knew that one was good.
Very stoic frame of Wolfe here.
Cyborg-like.
I like it. Not as good this time.
And again, Rob, that's the issue that we were talking about earlier with ball speed. He gets a little too fast, the ball pushes too far down the lane, and quite honestly, he's lucky the 10-pin wasn't standing with the 2-8.
2-8 for the spare. Bends it in, gets them both. Time now for the lumber liquidators. Know the wood, and the wood is a little different here in Japan.
Well, we have a special Japan Cup oil pattern. It's 42 feet in length, but a boatload of oil at the second arrow. And talking with Chris Barnes, he called this the Abe Lincoln pattern or the top hat pattern. And I think that's why we see so many Asians on this telecast, because they're able to go down and in, kind of like that.
Home lane advantage.
You know, the players talked a lot about the fact that the format, there wasn't enough games. As you see, a beautiful strike here by Ohsawa. But they talk about format, not enough games. You know, our players love to bowl a lot of games. But I think that it wasn't just the format, it was the oil pattern as well. It reduced the power of the U.S. game.
And Ohsawa follows his first strike with a 9, leaving the 4-pin up. That's the 4th time this match he's left the 4-pin standing.
And I just think that what he needs to do is make a parallel move left. What that means is he needs to move the same amount of boards with his feet as he does with his target. A 1-1 or 2-2 left will put him in a little bit more oil, and it'll hold the ball on line.
Now Wolfe with a 1-pin lead here in the 5th. Leaves the 10. 28th in last season's PBA World Point rankings was Mike Wolfe.
Another beautiful shot, another ringing 10 on that right lane. Mike Wolfe has to somehow dial in his speed and his angle to start increasing his pin carry in order to win this match.
He's left that 10-pin standing 3 times through 5 frames, able to clean him up all 3 times. And again, we're even.
Let's see what kind of adjustment Mike makes on this left lane. Again, real speed sensitive. And when the adrenaline's flowing and your heart is just thumping, it's really hard to control your ball speed. He needs to gear down, take a deep breath, and really finesse a shot here.
Nice finish. Still doesn't look all that happy about it, though, does he, Randy?
He knows he was just a little bit firm, but he's getting it dialed in.
We'll continue with semifinal number 1 coverage. The American Mike Wolfe, can he move on to the final? We welcome you back to ESPN's coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour, coming your way from Tokyo, Japan. Some of the PBA stars, all Natalie attired, sitting watching this one as we flash back to the 2003 Japan Cup. Young gun Tommy Jones taking on Chris Barnes.
The Tokyo Port Bowl. Fond memories for me at that bowling center there, where I won the Japan Cup back in 1989. But this was all about Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones battling for the title. You see the big American power game full display right here in front of you. Both players playing the deep inside line. This day would belong to Chris Barnes, but really it was a coming out party for Tommy Jones.
And we head back to semifinal number 1 action at the Japan Cup 2007. Mike Wolfe sitting down, but on top. Ohsawa opens up the 6th with a big 4, which is big ugly in bowling.
4-6, 7-10. This ball cuts right through the heart. And again, it's a matter of Ohsawa not making the proper adjustments. He needs to, again, make a parallel move left as he tries to convert the big 4. Not a chance. Too far to the right, playing in too much friction. That's why that ball will not hold its line to the pocket. He makes a slight move left. He'll find more oil, and that oil will keep the ball from going high.
Now let's remember that 6th frame, a big one for Wolfe. Ohsawa really hurting his chances. How will he respond in the 7th? Shaken but standing. Leaves the 2, 4, and 8. You start questioning yourself, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, he's confused. You know, you look down, you're looking at the boards, you're looking at your feet, you're trying to figure out, what the heck am I supposed to do now? Which board should I stand on? I mean, he might as well take a coin out of his pocket and flip it.
Never good in a semifinal when you're flipping coins to figure out where you're lining things up. Cleans up that mess well, though. Wolfe up now with the 7th frame, a big lead, and he can add to it. Just looking on the face of Ohsawa, he knows he may have let this one slip away.
Yeah, the bad news for Ohsawa, he's not lined up. Mike Wolfe is.
Looking for a double. This would be his 3rd strike of the game. Got it.
And that's nasty, too. When the 6 goes to the sidewall and cuts the 10 in half, that's a real good sign when you're a professional. Watch the 6 behave properly. This is your best friend next to a trip 4. That's a double. And again, Mike Wolfe lined up and ready to put a whooping on Ohsawa.
Looking for a 3-bagger. Yeah! It may be all over but the shouting at this point.
And that one came back from Yokohama. I mean, Mike Wolfe thought he got that one wide, and watch this bender. Check out the rotation. Beautiful hand behind the back of the bowling ball, and it looked like somebody just kicked it left.
And you saw just a faint glimpse of a smile from Wolfe, knowing that he is well in control of this one. Up 36. Here's Ohsawa in the 8th. Well, that'll get you back into it.
Well, he's got that lane and needs to find the left lane. Again, that little parallel move in. Use the oil as your friend, have it hold line.
Looking for a double. And finds it.
Well, that cuts it to 26 and still gives him a ray of light and a little bit of hope. But he's got to hope that this guy right here doesn't strike in the 9th frame, because if he does, it's all but over.
Over?
Well, that fat lady's starting to sing. Can
She's
you hear?
warming up.
She's warming up her pipes. Beautiful shot here. Look how steady he is. Those eyes right on the target. Mike Wolfe knows what the score is. I think we ought to give him the nickname Borg, as in
Cyborg.
Cyborg.
So smooth.
Hey, Rob, that's all she wrote.
Yeah. This is just textbook bowling. Slight fist pump. Up 46, trying to extend the lead. Leaves the 10. But he can enjoy and he can laugh. He is on to the final.
Only missed the pocket once this entire game. Left some 10 pins. Something he'll think about getting ready for the title match.
Wraps up the semis. Had 5 strikes. And Wolfe will move on to the championship match. And now Ohsawa just has to wrap it up. The body movement and the body motion didn't look too strong on the follow-through there, but he still cleans up a strike.
Hey, the guy's 55 years old. He's been bowling all week. Maybe his knee's starting to give out. I'll tell you what, just an incredible event for this gentleman right here. Probably the biggest thrill in his bowling career.
Hey, I hope I can bowl half this well at 55.
I hope I can walk when I'm 55.
That's the way to finish strong. One more toss for Ohsawa. Trying to make this a respectable score with a strong finish. Well, if you only started that way,
it's easy to get loose when the match is over.
So Mike Wolfe, the lone American, moves on to the championship game. Who he will face? TBD. Time now for our CLR clean sweep.
Mike Wolfe knows that if he can start stringing some strikes together, Ohsawa's in deep trouble because his opponent cannot strike. Mike Wolfe only missed the pocket one time. All of a sudden, he gets it going. Now looking for a five-bagger to seal the deal. Game over.
Each bowler threw 6 strikes, but it was Wolfe who paired them together at the opportune time. So who will Wolfe face in the final? Coming up, semifinal number 2. Mika Koivuniemi taking on Masao Uehara. The Japan Cup is brought to you by Bear. The more you know, the more you trust Bear. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com. By CLR. CLR, all kinds of dirty, one kind of clean. And by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. Back here at the Tokyo Metro Gymnasium, semifinal number 2 getting set to open up. The winner to take on Mike Wolfe. And here's Randy with the American finalist.
Mike, congratulations on another win. You're one win away from winning the Japan Cup. At the start of the week, did you think this was possible?
You always want to think that it's possible, but it's the shortness of the format, just the characteristics of the format. Anything's possible. So, but you're kind of looking for a bad break. Just the Mike Scroggins match was a perfect example. You're just looking for, no matter how good you bowl, you're waiting for something bad to kind of ruin the momentum, so to speak. But it's always possible, and you always look forward to it.
What kind of adjustments will you make in the title match?
Hopefully more strikes.
Okay, thanks. Good luck.
Simple strategy, more strikes. Why didn't we come up with that? PBA on the road continues. We open up stateside in Milwaukee. The Pro-Am's October 27th at the AMF Bolero Lanes in the greater Milwaukee area. But we are here to continue our coverage of the 2007 Japan Cup. Semifinal number 2, Mika Koivuniemi, 40-year-old from Finland, to take on the Japanese product, Masao Uehara. Again, the whistle signifying, Randy, it's time to bowl. I love the whistle. Maybe we can bring the whistle to Milwaukee with us.
I like it.
I think we're on to something. Whistle, brats, beers.
Miller Park.
I'm fired up for Milwaukee. How can you not be?
I am so psyched.
Koivuniemi. Ball 1, frame 1. That's how you start things off.
Beautiful shot by the Big Fin.
The big man takes a quick seat. Hands it over. Uehara. Leaves the 10. And again, we see that juxtaposition in styles as you take a look at how Uehara got here. Again, more of a straight line approach from the Asian bowlers.
More old school. Uehara, 44 years of age. So, you know, he's a throwback to more of a stylist type of form as opposed to power, more style and accuracy. And this condition, again, lends itself to that type of game because of the heavy amount of oil starting around the second arrow.
Line that one dead on. So a spare to start it off. Koivuniemi started with a strike. Oof, 3-6-10 stand.
And that looks to me like it's nerves early on. This gentleman has never bowled on television before, has never won a JPBA title. And the 3-6-10 is not the spare you want to be shooting at when you're nervous.
Cleans it up. Just got enough of that number 3 and carried it through on the 6 and the 10. Koivuniemi steps up now, working on a strike. A lot of physics in this bowling match. We were talking earlier, the difference in size, the angle of trajectory coming out, and the big man from Finland has got a different approach.
Well, Mika's probably almost a foot taller than Uehara, so Mika doesn't get down quite as low to the foul line. His release point is much higher off the floor. Mika obviously grew up in Finland. As you see, he was a player of the year back in 03 and 04. And growing up in Europe, lane conditions completely different than they were in the U.S. He developed a game of loft. And what that loft did for Mika in Europe eliminated the front part of the lane and helped get his ball consistently to the break point. When he came to the U.S., he didn't need that loft. The front part of the lane had a lot more oil on it, so Mika had to make some adjustments.
So in Europe, you're telling me Mika was essentially chipping over the rough and onto the green?
Absolutely.
Interesting. Let's take a look how these two have fared so far through Japan Cup 2007, and Uehara with the better average. Drops them all. 2 strikes out of his first 3 frames.
Right now, Mika just trying to dial it in. He's in the right zone. And again, you see the revolutions and the rotation that the PBA players put on that bowling ball.
For the 3rd straight frame, he leaves the 10 standing, does Uehara.
Completely different line. It's the down and in line that we like to call it. Japanese also like to use a lot of tape on their hands, fingers and thumb.
Knocks it down. What does the tape do for him?
Well, for them, it's kind of a comfort thing and also protection. It keeps their fingers from getting blisters. This tape actually started in Japan. You see some of the Americans now using it. A lot of guys are using thumb tape because, quite honestly, our thumbs are the ones that really take the beating, more so than the fingers.
Uehara, his first strike of the semis. Needed that one to get his confidence back. His view is just blocked out by the towering shadow of Koivuniemi. Up 4 in the 4th.
And there's Sean Rash, PBA star, talking with one of the few American sumo wrestlers here in Tokyo.
Another strike for the Big Finn. He's got an angry look, a little surliness to him.
Well, here he feels like he kind of gets away with this shot. He knows it's going to go light, so now he's just hoping for pin carry, and he gets it. I think one of the best, or one of the better bowling minds on tour in terms of concentration and confidence right here.
3 in a row.
when Mika's mindset is right, I'm not so sure there's anybody better when it comes to the mental aspect of bowling. He gets dialed in, and mentally he is super, super tough.
Very soft comeback there from Uehara.
And you can see this line that he's playing. It's real sensitive. He missed just a little bit to the right, and that ball overhooks and goes right through the nose, leaving the 6-10.
He's marked every frame, and that continues. Have to go back to 1988, the last time a Japanese bowler won the Japan Cup.
Takeo Sakai from Osaka actually bowled this event.
Second strike of the semi for Uehara.
And talking about bowling styles, Sakai back then in '88 was actually considered a power player for the Japanese.
He's not showing a whole lot of power today. 4 in a row now.
Beautiful shot. Watch this ball split the 8-9 in half. Check this out. You want to talk about power and drive. That's why you put revolutions on a bowling ball.
Looking for a 5-bagger. Trying to create some more distance. It's got a nice cushion as it is already. Give him 5.
That extra bounce early may have tripped that 4-pin for Mika.
He's rolled 7 frames, 6 strikes. Mika's on a roll. More when we return. One of the great traditions about the Japan Cup, the fan interaction with the athletes. Auction was held earlier in the day. Randy, did you auction off anything?
Actually, I did not, but did you see that guy's outfit, the pin guy?
Yeah, he's been all over our show.
I'll tell you what, great fans here in Tokyo, as always. They're so great they even remember me when I won almost 20 years ago.
Speaking of you, you are Randy Peterson. I'm Rob Stone. Glad you're here with us as we take a look at the other PBA finishers here at Japan Cup 2007. Some big names on this list.
Jason Couch, 144th, because he had to withdraw. Jason had knee surgery over the summer. He's not quite healed yet. Jason, hurry up and get well soon.
Time now for our Etonic Edge.
The big Finn, Mika Koivuniemi, 6'4". Remember, when you're that tall, you've got to somehow get the ball down to the foul line. You do that with some waist and knee bend. Look how high that wingspan is. But look how steady the head is at release. That's how he's able to keep his eyes on his target.
Lines up the toes. Does Uehara in a 44-pin hole right now. Frame 7. Looking good, sounds good, drops them all.
Yeah, let's do or die time now because this is getting late in the game, and Uehara-san, he knows he better start stringing them. Gets the 6 to go to the wall. Little love tap on the 10.
2 in a row, looking for a 3-bagger. Got it, and he's back in it. And undercut that last one.
The Japanese aren't known for talking smack, but if he were to talk some smack, he'd turn to Mika right now and go, "Hey, you tripped a 4 on that lane, pal. So did I. Take that." But of course, they wouldn't. They wouldn't do that.
It's Japan. They're far too respectful for smack talk.
Way too gracious.
If the Japanese ever start doing smack talk, the whole world is in trouble. More of the PBA Tours taking in this one. Mika staring down the lane, up 24 in the 8th frame. Very un-Mika-like, leaving the 4 and the 6.
Mika thinks this is a real good shot. You can tell by his reaction. He likes it off his hand immediately, and this ball just duck hooks.
What's the strategy here?
Throw it really hard and hope to get lucky.
Threw it hard, didn't get lucky. Open frame. Lead barely at double digits.
If Mika strikes out 9th and 10th, he shoots 246. Uehara can strike out 9th and 10th for 246. We have a possibility of a tie. And you can see that Mika had to defeat Tommy Jones to make it to the telecast. Tommy Jones, a former Player of the Year, and I mentioned Tommy Jones' name from that graphic because it was the only name that I could pronounce.
Stick to your strengths, Randy. Good decision. Mika with 6 strikes, but rolling now off an open frame.
Big shot here. If Mika doesn't strike, he can lose this match.
Strike it is. Now, way to bounce back.
A very stoic kind of response from that shot. It's a big shot. Sets up the 10th frame for him.
Now, what kind of response does Uehara have? Was on quite a roll. 3 strikes in a row, heading into frame number 9.
Biggest shot of the week for him right here.
Oof, not a money shot. And when you're laughing like that, it says that was not a good shot.
Yeah, this was a gack right here, and he knows it, and that's why he came back smiling. He just completely missed it at the release point off his hand, leaving the 2-4-10. Now all he's going to do is try to get the ball left side of the 2-pin, slide it over, and try to convert this to give himself a small glimmer of hope.
5th time in 9 frames he's left that number 10 sitting there. This is the only time he wasn't able to drop it, though. His first open frame comes at a poor time. As if there ever is a good time for an open frame, but Uehara right now in a 25-point hole. He's got a lot of digging to do. That'll help.
Much better shot there. He can strike out for 211. Mika just basically needs good count and to stay behind the foul line. Again, he's got to be very proud of himself and what he's accomplished this week. Again, keep in mind, this gentleman's never made a telecast before.
0 career titles. His average just 208 this year in Japan. Drops 9.
And this match, for all intents and purposes, is history. Mika Koivuniemi is going to bowl Mike Wolfe for the Japan Cup title.
Uehara, his final toss of this semifinal. And instead of the 10 pin, this time he's staring down the 2. Lines it up well. That'll put a close to his semifinal round, 201.
Right now, Mika's 10th frame is meaningless. He's just going to get up and try to stay lined up for the upcoming match. Remember the last time on this lane he went high 4-6. And there's your professional adjustment.
That was pretty from the release. Mika set to take on the American Mike Wolfe in the final. 2 more tosses left for the man from Finland. Spent 10 years bowling for Team Finland, then came to the States.
A lot of experience in that body there, and it doesn't matter if we're Tokyo, Japan, or somewhere close to his home in Michigan. Mika is tough all over the world.
Mika, his wife and 2 kids, living in Heartland, Michigan right now, takes care of the 10 pin, and that'll take care of the semifinals. He wins it by 34, 235 to 201. Take a look now at another CLR clean sweep, the Big Fin. Such a clean release.
Yeah, this game really was squeaky clean with the exception of one shot in the 8th frame where Mika went high and left the 4-6. But, well, I tell you what, beautiful shots off his hand. He had the right rotation going, dialed in his ball speed very nicely. and wins convincingly by 34.
8 strikes at one point, had strung together 5 in a row from frames 3 through 7. So our final is set from Japan. Mika taking on Mike Wolfe. When we return, it's not Japan without a little karaoke. We flash back now to last year's Japan Cup and an awfully historic matchup, Randy.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. looking to break Earl Anthony's record of 41 career titles. Taking on arch rival Pete Weber, Walter Ray almost bowls a perfect 300 game. 289 winner. There's your all-time winningest player in the history of the Denny's PBA Tour.
Walter Ray Williams somewhere in that crowd. He is not bowling in the final. There he is there in the far left. Good eye. Sake, sushi, and karaoke, 3 must-dos when in Japan, which means cue the Elton John sing-along, please.
You know, at some point in our lives, we're going to get caught singing out loud. Whether it's in our cars, maybe in the shower. This voluntary singing in front of complete strangers in the States is known as karaoke. Here in Tokyo, Japan, it's actually called karaoke. And I know of a place where we can go and find our favorite PBA stars belting out their favorite tunes. What do you say you come with me? Who knows, maybe we can find the next American Idol. Or maybe not.
I'd buy a big house where we both could live. Hey, where we go? Days when the rain came. Playing a new game. I don't know. Well, then it says it's the best place he's ever been. Oh, I understand you. Wherever we go. Do you still feel the pain? And then you're a star. I'm just getting good at this. Why did everybody leave all of a sudden? Where are we?
Not only is Junichi Ujima the winningest player in the history of bowling here in Japan, but he's also a great singer. Boy, we had a lot of fun that night. You're a great singer. We had a lot of fun that night. Now, the Japanese are noted for being great singers, but out of the American guys, who was the best singer in our group?
Norm?
Norm? Now, Ujima, throughout your career, you've been compared a lot to Earl Anthony, 41 titles. Earl had 41 titles. But for the guys that really know you, we think you're a lot more like Dick Weber, and you had a special relationship with Dick. Talk a little bit about the friendship you had with Mr. Weber.
Mr. Weber is my teacher, my bowling teacher. So, disappoint. Mr. Weber has passed away.
Thank you.
The passing of Dick Weber felt all over the international bowling community. Weber won 26 championships, and time now for our Geico Championship recap. We go back to semifinal number 1. Mike Wolfe, what a round he had. 6th frame, 7th frame, 8th frame, 9th frame, 10th frame, all strikes. He won 237 to 212, fending off a serious threat from Mr. Ohsawa. And then the Big Finn stepped up to semifinal number 2. 6 strikes in his first 7 frames for Mika Koivuniemi. Cleaned up number 10 there to win it 235 to 201. So that's our championship recap. Time now for the championship. When we return, the Big Finn, Koivuniemi, taking on the Lone Wolf, Mike Wolfe. We we welcome you back to ESPN's exclusive coverage of Japan Cup 2007, coming your way from the Tokyo Metro Gymnasium. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you. It's the first event of the 2007-2008 Denny's PBA Tour. Here's how Wolfe and Koivuniemi moved on to the final, and we are set to bowl off for the Japan Cup 2007 crown.
Ladies and gentlemen, the championship match. The number 9 seed, Mike Wolfe. His opponent, the number 22 seed, Mika Koivuniemi.
Both players very respectful, bowing to their Japanese audience. And the whistle means it's time to bowl.
You dig that whistle,
I love the whistle. I may have to just take a whistle home with me and just have the whistle signify everything in my life. The whistle means it's time to mow the lawn. The whistle means it's time for breakfast. Here's Mika Koivuniemi, set to kick off our final. I'll get you a whistle too, Randy, if you want one. I'm sharing kind of guy.
Mika, very tough on television, as that stat just showed you. Tied for 5th winning percentage on TV. The Big Fin, Major Mika.
Just like he did in the semis, he starts off frame 1 with the strike.
I always thought it was much tougher after winning a match and then having to go and sit than coming back after a game's already been bowled. I'd rather be in Mika's position where he just comes off of a win, he goes right back into the next match.
Wolfe, the man who had the layoff. Here's frame number 1 for him. Leaves that 2-pin standing.
Wolfe a little bit further right than I thought he would be for this match. As the balls go down the lane, it takes the oil off the lane with it, and I thought that the oil pattern would have broken down a lot more to where Mike would have had to move deeper towards the center part of the lane.
Wolfe in his first championship round appearance since December of 2005 with a spare in the opening frame. Looking for just his 3rd career title is Wolfe. 28th was his rank last season on the Denny's PBA Tour. Yikes.
Wow, that was instant sandpaper off his hand. That ball hit the lane and just sparked left. Mike goes right through the heart and pays the price, leaving the big 4, 4, 6, 7, 10.
Realistically, you're getting 2 out of this.
Realistically.
Hopefully, 3, maybe 4. 2 it is. An open frame. Yikes to start this one off. Here comes Mika. Very talented athlete growing up in high school. Played hockey, basketball, and soccer. And love this. In 1981, he was Finland's youth miniature golf champion. Not many people have that on their resume.
The guy can putt.
Apparently. He can roll it as well. Like that. Back-to-back jacks for Mika.
And like all great champions, he takes advantage of an opening given to him by his opponent. The patented loft by Mika, and the confirmation of 10 in the pit.
Looking to open up with a 3-bagger. Got it flush.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. That was pretty flush right there. You throw most of them there, I guarantee you, you're going to throw a lot of strikes.
Quickly up 36 on Wolfe, who gets set for frame number 3. just missed knocking that 10.
Had the head pin coming over. Watch this. Head pin right there is going to go to the sidewall. It's going to come over. We call this the bird dog. And he's looking to hunt, but unfortunately goes right in front of the 10 pin. And Mike Wolfe still looking for his first strike of this match.
Not going to get it here. He gets the spare instead. Down 36 as we enter the fourth. Our next PBA Denny's bowling coverage coming your way from Milwaukee, the USBC Masters. Next Sunday, live coverage, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ESPN.
Miller Park, baby.
That's a big-time setting.
Big time.
We have a bit of an arena atmosphere here in Tokyo, close to 3,000 in attendance for the Japan Cup. Wolfe still,
are you kidding me?
Seeking the strike.
Watch this on replay. This is the 8 pin that's actually going down, and something else, another pin hits it and stands right back up. Watch the 8 pin right there. It's going down. Something comes off the wall and stands it back up. And that's when you know it's not going your way.
No, that's musical pins. Oh, man. I don't know. What pin do we call that now?
It's like the 7.5 pin.
Nails the 7.5 pin. Gets the spare, needs that, but boy, he needed a strike because that is all Mika has thrown thus far. The start of a new Denny's PBA Tour season is upon us, and PBA.com remains your best source for all the latest PBA news and information. Head on over to the Tour's official website for all the up-to-minute tournament standing, stats, info, merchandise, apparel, everything is there. That was less than attractive. What happened?
Bad shot. Mika knows it right about there, and he's like, oh my gosh, what did I do? He gets that one right into the boatload of oil in the middle part of the lane, and unless you have about a 20 grit sandpaper applied to your bowling ball, it's not going to hook there.
2 left standing, his first open frame of this championship match.
Mika trying to convert the washout. Oh, needed to get the bowling ball a little bit further left of the head pin and drive it into the 10. Mika could have taken advantage of Mike Wolfe there working on a 3-bagger. Instead, it's an open frame, and now it's a 20-pin match. Excuse me, 19.
Close enough. We won't hold it against you. Mika, frame 5. That's how you respond to an open frame.
Mika likes this lane. Again, another high flush shot on the left lane. And Mike Wolfe right now needs to get something going.
Still without a strike. Still without a strike.
Now it's a 20-pin match. Mike Wolfe hitting the pocket, but just not getting the right entry angle to get all 10 down. Lanes have changed just enough to where his ball and the angle it's entering the pocket has changed. And his carry has gone from pretty good to pretty bad.
If you're Mike Wolfe right now, what are you doing to adjust?
I think the adjustment is the same that it's been for him all week, and that's just to adjust his ball speed. Bring his ball speed down a little bit, maybe bump his feet left a couple of boards, bring the speed down, create a little bit more angle into the pocket.
6th frame, still seeking a strike. Again, the 10-pin standing. 4th time in 6 frames that 10-pin has not dropped for him.
It's such a difficult thing to do, to make an adjustment in a one-game match knowing that you've got a line to the pocket. The pins just aren't going down. If Mike Wolfe were to make a big adjustment here, he could lose pocket altogether. So it's kind of a catch-22. Do I make a move? Do I stay where I am and hope they go down?
Well, it's time for Wolfe to make a move because Mika has a substantial lead. Who's going to walk away from Japan with the title? We'll tell you when we return. Nice look at the Imperial Palace, home of the Imperial family. It's the heart and soul of Tokyo. Became the Imperial home upon its completion in 1888. Is now the residence of Emperor Akihito, the 125th Emperor of Japan.
A lot of nines there for Mr. Wolfe. Not a good thing, especially in a championship match.
Sixth frame for Mika.
Here comes. Oh.
There it goes. Number 10 left standing again.
Right now the guys are struggling just to get all 10 to go down. They're hitting the pocket. Pins aren't responding to good shots being thrown by both players.
Mika started this championship match with 3 strikes, open frame strike, and now a spare. And we move to the 7th, up by 21. Looking to become the first European to win the Japan Cup. That's more like it.
Great shot of Mika's hand at release, rotating around the side of the ball. And that time he gets all 10 to go down. Mike Wolfe still looking for his first strike of the championship match.
That 10 pin shook just a little bit, but remains upright again.
Just another great quality shot by Mike Wolfe. He's getting robbed. This is basic robbery in bowling. His last 5 shots, 10 pin, 8 pin that moved over to the 7 pin spot, 10 pin, 10 pin, 10 pin. Right now you start to get frustrated.
Oh no.
And that's a direct result of bad pin carry, a small lapse of concentration, and a lot of frustration.
His second open frame of this championship match, which is about 2 too many when you're taking on Koivuniemi. Opens up the 8th frame, dropping 8.
And now this is borderline ridiculous. Every bad break in the book Mike Wolfe has received in this game.
4-9 left. 4-9 go down. A smidge of redemption and relief on his face.
And a wry smile.
Yeah.
Perfectly done. Slides the 4 into the 9.
Muttering to himself, never a good thing. Koivuniemi up 33, 8th frame. Coming off a strike.
Mika just needs to stay clean. 8th, 9th, and 10th frame, and the Japan Cup 07 is his.
Drops 9. It hasn't been the prettiest of finals, and sometimes I guess that happens after you're bowling so much through the course of an event.
Yeah, the oil pattern changes, the lanes change. I've seen them go from bad to better. I mean, the lanes seem to go from pretty good to not so good. It's not so much the guys can't get to the pocket, it's just pin carry. Mika very fortunate there, only leaving the 2 pin. It's an easy 9 spare for him. That's all he has to do the rest of this match. That'll put him in the 200s, low or the high 190s. The best Mike Wolfe can shoot is 189.
Drops 9 after the spare.
And right there's a huge break. Right, Mika's looking at shooting the bucket. Crumbles the bucket and only leaves the 5 pin again. Easy spare conversion. Mika, driver's seat, staying out of trouble and doing what he has to do.
Gets that one. One open frame through his first 9. That came back in number 4. Big lead courtesy of starting off this finals with 3 straight strikes. Wolfe still seeking his first strike of this championship match. And here we are in frame number 9.
I mean, this is a right-handed version of the match that Mika had against Yamamoto when Yamamoto left seven pins, the young left-hander. To me, it looks like it's just Mika's day. Mike Wolfe's bowled a great game, and he's in the 160s.
Finally, all 10 hit the floor.
I mean, honestly, how much different does this look except the ball faces a little bit stronger in the 1-3? You know how big of an adjustment he may have made? Maybe a half a board, maybe 1 inch moving with his feet, maybe his target. It's not a lot, but what a different result. And a trip 4, can you believe it?
So now he finds his groove. Where was this in 1 through 8?
He's probably wondering the same thing. He's like, well, I couldn't strike before, and now all of a sudden it doesn't matter what I do. I mean, that's the same 4-9 shot that he left, only this time he trips the 4 pin.
And Mika on the verge of another title. Mike Wolfe trying to finish strong.
And another 10 pin.
It's been the story of this final for Mike Wolfe.
I'll put him in the 170s, 178 if he spares. Mika Koivuniemi needs to stay behind the foul line in the 10th frame and just knock down some wood, and he's going to be your champion.
And Mike Wolfe will finish with a 178, easily the lowest total in today's finals. A deceptively low score, though.
Absolutely. I mean, that game could have been 230 easy.
Commanding 23-pin lead for Koivuniemi.
Mika's glad this match is over.
It hasn't been real pretty for him either.
Interesting note, I spoke with Mika earlier in the week, and he complained about his pin carry. He said, Randy, you know, I can't get the weak 10 out. My ball's not hitting hard enough. And isn't it ironic that it was the undoing of his opponent's bad carry that got Mika to this point?
Wolfe had 2 open frames. You see him just sitting back and watching the rest of this one roll out. There we go. That's a good way to wrap up their first title in Japan. Japan Cup 2007. For the first time goes to a European, Mika Koivuniemi. No champagne in that bottle. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. We'll hear from the champion when our Denny's PBA Tour coverage returns to Tokyo. The Japan Cup is brought to you by Atonic, the official footwear of the PBA. Atonic, first one there. By the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. By Denny's. Denny's always works. And by Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. Now, Randy, you did this in 1989. In 2007, it's Mika Koivuniemi's turn, raising the Japan Cup.
What a great feeling receiving that wonderful trophy from Mr. Nakano, who I met 20 years ago, the president of Eastern Sports, one of the main sponsors of this event. And then the best part, in my opinion, a really big check.
Always wondered how you cash those in the ATM deposit slots. You know, they're so tiny. How do you... That, and you got the whole translation to go from yen to American dollars. You got 5 million yen. That's impressive. Just as impressive, 50,000 American dollars for Mika. Mike Wolfe pockets 26,000. Randy Peterson standing by with our winner.
Mika, describe the feeling of being the first ever European to win this prestigious event.
Oh, it's a great feeling. It's always great to win any tournament in the world, but especially here in Japan. It's first time me for winning anything in Japan, and it's, I don't know, I can't put any words.
Now, earlier in the week, you and I were talking about your poor pin carry. Obviously, you were able to turn that around. How'd you do it?
I don't know. It's like I told you when we bowled the qualification, I never get more than 5-packer for 12 games. So, but in the matches, I start to get more strikes, and I get luck my side to this tournament.
Congratulations. Mika Koivuniemi, the 2007 Dydo Japan Cup champion. Today, the Big Fin is the toast of Tokyo. Kampai.
Koivuniemi wins it. Our next stop is more stateside, as in Milwaukee. Denny's PBA Tour, the U.S. BC Masters, coming your way live next Sunday, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ESPN. Koivuniemi becomes the first European to win the Japan Cup, claiming his 8th PBA title. He now has wins in 11 different countries. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.